Welcome to Live Edge, episode number 8. Can you believe we've been doing this for 8 episodes so far?
I know.
It's awesome.
Amazing.
It is awesome. Tonight we're going to talk about which tool brand you should choose and which tool brands are the best. So that's what we're talking about tonight. I'd like to welcome all of you here. We got a lot of people from a lot of different places.
Yeah, so I was trying to write down some of them, and y'all go ahead and tell us where you're from. But so far, we've got Michigan, Boston, New York, New Jersey, Tennessee, Maryland, Texas, Kansas, Oregon, Georgia, Ohio, New Mexico, Arkansas, Florida, Louisiana, and Virginia. And those are just the ones I've written down so far. So y'all give us a shout out from where you're from.
Yep, we love to
There's
hear from where
another
you're from.
Louisiana, Maine, Northeast Ohio, I can't talk, North Carolina, California, East Tennessee, Tupelo, Mississippi. Love my Mississippi people. Michigan. So thank y'all for joining us tonight.
Our name come from 7/31 comes from our anniversary date. We met July 31st, 7/31, 1999. And then we were married July 31st, 2000. One year later. So that's where the name comes from.
We wanted to keep the date, kind of simple so that he would never forget it.
Hey.
Just picking. Okay, so he's been mean to me today. So I told him I was
shocked.
No, you're not. He's not been mean. But while we're talking about brands, somebody had said something on before we got started tonight. Christopher McGurgan, I think is how you said it, said the tool is not the skill. So there's you a kickoff point right
That's right.
there.
The tool is not the skill.
I loved that. I had to write that down because I loved it. So.
I know a lot of you know that I started with borrowed tools. I still use
Thank you, Dan
some of
Dixon.
Those. Yeah, man. Thank you, man. Awesome. So a lot of you know that I started with those borrowed tools, and don't be ashamed of humble beginnings. I mean, everybody's got to start somewhere. So that's just it's one of those things.
Mr. Lloyd's in the house.
Lloyd Wagner. Hey, I like that name change, Mr. Lloyd. I recognize
it did not go unnoticed, I promise.
The first comment you commented, I noticed that you changed your first name.
Yeah, I loved it. And who was it that sent us the video today? Because I was...
Oh, it's on Instagram. I have to pull it in just a second.
Yeah, you'll have to... Somebody sent us a video recognizing us and having the Golden Girls theme song behind it. So that
really
was
cool.
Awesome. I was in the middle of doing an escape room with my students when it come through, so I didn't really get to see much of it then, but it was really cool. I saw it after work.
Mr. Dan Hurst, you haven't missed a thing. This is, we want to give a shout out. These shirts are gifts from Glorify Him Gear, at Glorify Him Gear on Instagram. He sent me this shirt.
This one.
And then she got that one. So that was pretty cool. Thank you very much.
We love it.
So if you want to talk about tool brands, I'd like to know what tool brand you like the best. You can comment that in the live stream. If you're watching this on replay, you can just comment replay and then what tool brand you like. So, I'm pretty partial to my Ridgid tools. I've used those Ridgid tools because they have the lifetime warranty. But on the batteries and everything, which really sold me on that set, they're a little bit lower cost than some of the others.
I think I messed up something.
I'm not sure what happened.
I think I messed up something on his screen.
And so I like them, but I'm not loyal to them. And I think a lot of people get loyal to a tool brand because of the name, because of the color. If y'all saw me unbox that Dewalt combo kit this week on the last video, I was really excited to unbox those. I really like Dewalt tools. I think they make some really great stuff. I have a Dewalt miter saw, and I've liked that thing since I had it. And so when I was able to unbox that, and I really appreciate that donor giving us the funds to be able to do these type of unboxings and reviews and giveaways, it's really exciting. And
Thank you,
giveaway,
Ron French.
Thank you, Ron French. So the giveaway details will be in the next video on Thursday if you're interested in that. But some lucky somebody's going to win a really fantastic set.
I'm really excited about that too.
I am too. And I really, really, really hope that it goes to a beginner woodworker who really needs it, or somebody who has borrowed tools that need it, because I know what it was like. I won a dust extractor from Tools by Design that I've got hooked to my sander, and it was really awesome to be able to win that just starting out. I thought it was like the greatest thing ever. And so I know what it's like to win something like that, and we are super excited about being able to give that away. And it's not just the combo set, it's drill, driver, saw, there's a flashlight, and then there's a K5, Kreg K5 pocket hole jig with a face clamp with a box of screws to help get you started. And then I threw in a tape measure and a speed square. That should round out and get you started on a bunch of good projects.
Somebody had said the best advice you had given them was not to buy a tool until they need it.
That's right. And I've done that a lot.
Yeah.
If I needed one, I would save for it. But if I didn't need it, it's like that circular saw. That the one I've got still works. So I'm not really in a hurry to buy one. I could buy one now if I wanted it.
Jose Murillo says, what's going on with the Delta? Can't get a table saw until May.
Yikes.
I've not heard about
Well,
that.
I don't know what's going on with them specifically, but I do follow a lot of home or a lot of gym equipment stuff. And if Garage Gym Reviews posted a video today about steel shortages and supplies increasing in demand, increasing in prices. So I would assume that may have something to do with delays in power tool equipment too, because they, especially table saws and stuff, where they need that metal. So that may be it, but I have no inside information on that.
Jay Dobad too says that he and his wife were married on 4/15 tax day.
Mm-hmm.
Then 3 years later, it's their oldest child's birthday.
That's pretty cool.
That's because children are expensive and taxes are expensive. And why'd you choose tax day? But it's still cool.
Yep,
I like that.
cool.
I love that.
Yeah, the supply lines are also backed up because of everything that's going on. And so that does have, and he says that in the Garage Gym Reviews about the steel, because it takes steel to make barbells and power racks and plates and everything home gym related takes steel. And so I think you'll see a lot of that coming in the next few months. There's going to be a lot of shortages.
A lot of people are talking about, thank you, Michael Nunez.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
A lot of people are talking about Ryobi. Some of them are starting out with Ryobi. Some are talking about Craftsman.
Yep. So if you're starting out,
Dewalt.
If you're starting out and you're on a budget, I would look at Porter Cable, Ryobi, and Craftsman, Kobalt, Hercules. I've heard a lot of good stuff this week about Hercules tools from Harbor Freight. I don't know if y'all know this or not, but Stanley Black & Decker actually owns the parent companies of Bosch, Porter Cable, Dewalt, Black & Decker, Craftsman, Irwin. And I've dropped a link in the description below to this video. If you're on the audio, you can come check the video out and look. But it's from Tool Guide, and they have a list, a whole web post about who owns each tool company. It's really interesting because it's a lot of those places you wouldn't know who owned who. And so like a parent company is Tektronic Industries, TTI. They actually own Milwaukee.
There's a lot of Milwaukee lovers on here.
And they own Ryobi. I did not know that. I did not know that the parent company owned Milwaukee and Ryobi. Now, that's not saying they're all coming out of the same factory. I would highly doubt that, but they do own the same company. So that's something to keep in mind. They also own Hart, which is being sold at Walmart now. So it's kind of interesting with that.
Michael Hensley says for him, brand depends on what tool he's looking at. And that's very true.
Mm-hmm. So, yep.
We talked about that before the show started tonight.
So to me, in my mind, and I don't know if it's marketing or what, but in my mind, if I'm looking for a router, I'm going out and I'm going to buy a corded router, a couple of horsepower, 3 horsepower. For some reason, Bosch always sticks out in my mind as the go-to router tool. And that I don't even know why that is, because I've never even owned one of those. So it's funny how marketing works.
Michael Nunez this is his first time here, new to woodworking.
Awesome,
from Tucson, Arizona, because of you guys started woodworking and getting excited
That's
about
awesome.
it. That is awesome.
That is awesome. I'm hearing from a lot of you guys. If y'all want to check us out on, let's see, Facebook.
Yeah.
Message us on Facebook.
Go on Facebook, like us there.
Yep. Instagram.
He's been on my case. I am starting to look at my Instagram more.
And so if y'all want to go check us out there at 731 Woodworks, I get messages from you all the time about how you're just starting out. And that's really what this channel is about, is the beginner woodworker and intermediate woodworker, and trying to help you, give you that little extra push sometimes that we need to get us going. And
Angelo Cruz is on here. He's a firefighter and does woodworking on the side. Did they know you used to be a firefighter?
I don't know.
He used to be a firefighter. And here, let me tell you a little bit something about him.
Awesome.
Yeah, he loved it. So we lived out in the country. Maybe a mile past the county line. Maybe not even a mile.
No, we live out in the country.
No,
It was like
it was
5,
past the
6
county
miles.
line. No, city picked up trash up not far up the road because the school bus came there, and I had to drive my car before I was supposed to be driving. I drove my car from my house to a house down the road so that I could get on the school bus and I wouldn't have to ride in town or drive in town. And I accidentally left a candle burning one night. Went to bed, woke up to smoke and smoke alarms. I had set the house on fire. He was at work at the fire station. He was a full-time fireman, not volunteer, full-time. Only person there.
It was a one-man show.
I called him, and he couldn't come. He said, I can't come.
City.
You're outside the city limits. He didn't come.
Oh, I feel awful about that now.
I too. Your wife and 3 kids were there. You can't make this stuff up. Sorry, I'm bad about those tangents. Darn it.
She'll never forget nothing, in case you don't know.
Jesus may forgive, but a wife don't forget. Always remember that. Oh my gosh. Well,
good time, folks. Good time.
Oh my goodness. But I can imagine telling our grandkids that story one day.
Yep, I'm sure they'll think a lot of old Pop.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, a lot of people will talk about when you get into the brand loyalty on your tools, like the Ridgid line, like I've got. It would be hard for me to get outside of that and go into, say, the Dewalt or Milwaukee. If I was buying any tool right now and money wasn't the issue, I would probably go with Milwaukee. They're consistently, if you search top tool brands, most reliable tool brands, Milwaukee. And when I worked construction a long time ago, right out of high school, the construction company, that's all they bought was Milwaukee. And those tools are really well made on average. And so that's probably, if money wasn't an issue, that's where I would go is Milwaukee. If I was on a budget, which most of the time I am, I went with the Ridgid because I think that, I can't remember the exact price, $179 for the drill driver set, lifetime warranty, 4 amp hour batteries come with that. I wound up picking up a router later. And so if I bought a cordless circular saw, I would go with the Ridgid because I've already got those batteries. And I think a lot of times when you start out in woodworking, you go and you buy the Ryobi or you buy the Porter cable or the Ridgid or the Dewalt or whatever tool you buy first, that's going to hook you in because of that. You're on that battery platform at that point if you're into the cordless stuff, and I love cordless tools.
Tyler Wise says that you have him wanting a Wahuda joiner. I
gotta get you one of them Wahudas.
I love that name. Nice. I do.
I love it. Nice. I went for a long time without a joiner. You guys know that.
So Brian says that we remind him of him and his wife.
Mm-hmm.
She's a school teacher, and they both run their little side business together. Couldn't do half the stuff without her. So
I couldn't do a quarter of this without her. I mean, she is a giant supporter of me. I told her.
I'm a believer in him.
She is very much so.
Yeah.
I told her earlier today, she was, what did I say? You support me too much.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's like, she's like, yeah, okay, do it.
Yeah,
I know you can.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
I do. I believe in him. Yeah, I've always believed in him.
What's my take on Makita ES? Makita is one of the top. If you search top tool brands, most reliable tool brands, you're going to see Dewalt, Makita, Milwaukee. They're all three right there in that top 3, and they make some very, very good stuff, and I actually like them a lot.
We had a wildlife firefighter in here also.
Hey,
I
awesome.
lost it, but it was in there. I promise. Which planer would you recommend, Ridgid or Dewalt?
Dewalt.
Angelo Cruz wants to know.
Dewalt. I got that Dewalt 735X, I believe is the number on it. It is really, my dad gifted that to me for my birthday, but a couple years back. That's a really nice planer. Carlos
Cotto says going on 2 years with an Admiral miter saw from Harbor Freight and no regrets.
Hey, I've heard a lot of good stuff about it. Now I think they're selling Hercules line now. I'm not sure if it's the same tool rebranded. I got tons of messages this week and comments on that video, the unboxing of those Dewalt tools, that those Hercules tools are really nice. So that may be something I need to pick up and review on the channel. If you're interested in that, comment.
Matthew wants to know, if you were to start over, would you go with Milwaukee?
No, because I didn't have the money. Milwaukee's are very expensive compared to the other tools. You will pay a premium for getting a Milwaukee tool. And so that's why I got the Ridgids. I got them at, I think it was $179. I can't remember exactly. It's been a few years back. But I bought them. If it was today and I was starting over on the same budget I had then, it would be Ryobi, because they've got such a massive cordless tool platform, and they're very affordable, and they run sales on those things all the time. Go follow Tool Boss on YouTube. He goes into the Home Depot and the Lowe's and tells you the deals. So that's what I do.
Alex says, problem with cheaping up is you might find yourself buying the same tool again a year or two later, and now you've paid more. We're going to talk about that in a minute.
About $731.
DIY Texan said that he finished his $731 Woodworks inspired table today. Hard to find something the size he wanted. And closest, cheapest on Wayfair was $150. He spent $45.
Yep.
That's awesome. And
I don't know how much money you save by building your own stuff, and then you get the satisfaction of building.
Or just by not shopping on Wayfair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I have problems with that place sometimes. I've loved Wayfair for so many years, but the last few things I've ordered there have been broken, and I've been really sad. I love to buy things from places like Wayfair because they make them look so pretty, but they're staged. So that's what you guys need to do. We got some Ryobi haters and some Ryobi lovers.
Yep. I have seen Bill McNair agree on Ryobi. Check direct tool outlet for Ryobi discount tools. They do have a lot. I think a lot of those, if I'm not mistaken, are refurbished. I'm assuming you can send them back if they're messed up. I've never shopped there, so y'all tell me if that's true.
Graf says Ryobi doesn't change their battery connectors like other big brands do.
Well, you get if you got pickup Milwaukee, they've got a 12-volt line, and then of course those batteries won't interact with their bigger battery, 18-volt. Or are they 20? I'm not sure. I don't have any of those.
1000 Horsepower says, looking at the Bosch job site table saw this week. Any thoughts on that?
I don't because I've not even looked at that one. If it's got a fence that stays true when you get to the point to where you want it set and it stays true.
Didn't you buy one that it kept messing up on? And
that was a Ridgid table saw. It had a warped tabletop, and it wouldn't. The fence wouldn't slide, so I swapped it. I actually got my money back, and that's the one I put in the back seat of a car.
Plain Crazy says, only problem with the Hercules cordless tools right now is the lack of tools. Once that line gets expanded, it would totally be worth investing in.
And if you're into that line of tools, you got Harbor Freight, who does coupons all the time. If you you can go to their website and sign up for their little flyer, and they'll mail it to you, and they'll mail you a bunch of coupons.
Joe Southern wants to know, what's your take on buying lumber from a local sawmill?
If you got a place to dry it, you just get it stickered and dry. But you 6-8 months.
I don't think you've ever done that.
I haven't, because I've got no place to keep it. No place. We live in town. We live on like a 100 by 150 lot, if it's even that big. So.
Colton Wilson wants to know if anyone in here has actually dealt with a Ridgid warranty firsthand. So if so, y'all drop a comment below at him and let him know if you have any experience with that. Help him out.
I've been lucky so far, and I haven't had to deal with their Ridgid warranty. I have heard that others have trouble getting things swapped out. I registered my stuff when I first bought it, but I don't remember my login on there, so I don't know.
Michael Hensley says that he has a Bosch 4000 table saw and has loved it.
Awesome.
Nelson Carrera. No, I'm not saying that right. Carrera. Dewalt is the best job site table.
That's good.
Saw for him.
So Bill McNair, to follow up on the Direct Tools outlet, he says they come with a 1-year warranty, and they sell refurbished and factory blemish. So that's awesome.
I love that y'all are answering Colton. Thank y'all. And go ahead and give us that thumbs up on there.
Smash the
hit that thumbs up for us.
Share so other people can come watch.
Yes, please. We appreciate that so much. Got some more people in here from Texas too. I've seen several from Texas and Arkansas. I'd like to get back to Texas. We haven't been to Texas in years.
2012.
Our kids were so little the last time we went there. Oh, the pandemic got everything messed up. Oh my goodness. J.S. Lowe says, I was going to build a 731 Woodworks dining table for his first DIY project, but decided to make a butcher block cutting board, and it came out amazing.
Awesome.
Used walnut, curly maple, and purple heart.
I bet that was pretty.
That does
Share a
so
picture
pretty.
with us on
Tag us.
Instagram. Or
Angela
Facebook.
wants to know, do you wax your table saw top?
Wax on, wax off. I used to use Johnson Space Wax. Then I swapped to Tray Wax because it didn't stink. And now I'm using Bosch Shield. I got a video on that. Just search Bosch Shield 731 Woodworks. You'll check it out. And it's got like a silicone base. I use it on aircraft. It's made by Boeing. And you spray it on there. It's got like a silicone type stuff in there. And it seals it and keeps it from rusting.
We have Biloxi, Mississippi.
Man, I love Biloxi.
That is one of our favorite places in the whole world. And I think Biloxi gets hate sometimes. But Biloxi to me is beautiful. I come from Mississippi, and so I love magnolia trees. And the great thing about Biloxi, you can drive through all these big, beautiful magnolia trees.
It's like South Beach.
And then all of a sudden you see palm trees and white sand. Yes, the water sometimes is
a little murky.
It's a little murky, but
it's a beautiful area.
It is beautiful, and it's so calm and relaxing there. We love to go there.
Who was at the commenter from Biloxi? Did they have the aquarium open yet? Because they were building it the last time we were down there.
Yeah, it's been a while. Somebody wants to know what a good router to start out with. Brian Melissa Hudson.
Always Bosch. Bosch makes excellent routers. If you're already on a cordless tool platform, I would just get that one. If you want a corded one, get the Bosch. That's what I would do. Dog busting in.
Lipinski 24. What's your opinion on WEN tools?
I like WEN and American Patriot. Thank you, brother.
4321 Woodworking says, have you considered starting a Facebook woodworking group, either paid or unpaid, for woodworkers to collaborate? That would be a great idea. And
that is a good idea.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a paid one.
No, I did.
It'd be, definitely.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to limit, because a lot of the beginners don't have the money to get started.
That, and we all need each other's support.
Yep.
You know, so those of you that do support us in financial ways, that's amazing.
Yeah, we greatly appreciate it.
When you pray for us, or when you join us, or you watch us, you're also supporting us, and that's amazing too. So
back to the WEN tools. What do I think about them? I have a WEN drill press. I like that thing a lot. I think they make some really good stuff. I've heard nothing but good things about their planer. If you're looking for a little more budget option planer, the WEN planers are good. I think they make really good stuff. I think they don't. I don't think they get a whole lot of street cred, but they make good stuff.
Ryobi bought do you pronounce that Boer router?
Bauer?
Mm-hmm. I have contacts on and I cannot see. I'm
that doesn't make
that's
any
why
sense.
I keep moving. Yeah, I can't see up close with my contacts in. I should have taken them out. But anyway, bought it from Harbor Freight for $79. Works great.
Dylan Owens wants to know, what's my opinion on miter saw? Do you prefer sliding, and what is the blade size is your favorite? 12-inch blade size. I like the Diablo blades. I use an 80 tooth on mine. If you're choosing sliding or not, get the sliding, because that just gives you more cut capacity, more options, and so that's what I would go with. The Dewalt $349. The Dewalt $779. Excellent deal. If you want that super butter smooth slide, then that Delta is the one to go for.
Kevin Nickel, ever use a Shopsmith?
I have not.
Omar, we are doing great today. God bless you too.
Thank you, Omar.
It's been a rough day. It's been a rough afternoon. I actually caught my arm right where the metal plate is in a metal scroll thing today, right at the end of work, in like the last 10 minutes of work. And so I told him, I said, yeah, I did. I came home hurting real bad, and I told him, I said, I feel so down tonight. But I knew that once we got in here, it would lift my spirits, and it always does. Seeing the things that you guys say and seeing your support always makes me feel better. So I can't complain.
Bosch does have a good butter saw.
Thank you, too. Peyton Lee.
Butter smooth.
A
budget lathe. Yeah. I've never used a lathe. I don't know. If somebody can answer, Mr. Alan Summers, what's a good budget lathe? We can help him out there. Belt sander. Intros for you. What do you think about the Makita 9403 belt sander? I have a belt sander. I started using that thing a little bit when I was putting my tabletops together, and they were a little bit wumpy jawed. Use that table sander to sand it down, but when I stained them, I could never get those giant streaks out, no matter how much I sanded with the orbital sander afterwards. So I just didn't have any good luck with those.
Oh, your mouse moves, and you've got yours set backwards for mine.
Well, it's because the Mac slides different.
Mine is a Mac.
Oh.
Did you forget? What's the difference between a palm router and fixed base? Do they do the same stuff? Viviana wants to know.
No, a palm router is basically what they call a trim router. Also, is for like rounding over edges and some really small minor work. A fixed base router is for going into a router table, or I mean, you don't have to have it in a router table. You can cut dados with it. You can do all kinds of stuff with it outside the router table, but it doesn't adjust the depths as.
Yeah. Lisa wants to know, what are your thoughts about French cleats for storage in your shop? I gotta go take
those are really cool. Those are really cool, and I really, as soon as I get more time, y'all, I'm fixing to redo my shop. I want to build a bigger table. I want to build some wall storage, and French cleats are on my to-do list.
Tom says that the wife bought him a Ryobi starter kit 20 years ago, and it's still going strong.
That is awesome. I didn't even realize Ryobi had been around that long. That's because your wife bought it. Yep, that's right. That's awesome.
Women make those good choices like that. Laura said that she loves watching us, brought her day up after a rough day at work.
Sorry you had a rough day.
And she's praying for a speedy healing for me.
Good, thank you.
Thank you so much. That's what makes me feel so good about this.
Yep.
That's why I completely can believe in you on this, because you've reached so many people in ways that we didn't think was possible. Yeah. And so that's what's amazing to me.
I'm gonna share a story, and it's not. I won't name any names, but I got a message from someone this week. Should I even tell it? Because he may not know. I didn't start it now.
Why don't you? I tell you what.
It's just crazy how making a video and of something you have a passion about, whether it be like me for woodworking, and making different types of videos. Whether it be an advice video or a go get 'em video or just a build video, whatever, tool review. It really touches people in ways you never could imagine that would work for you. Unless you.
Oh.
She got to step away and take off.
Yeah.
But you never know how those things will affect you or affect other people when you make those videos. It's not something I never would have guessed would have happened. Never. Do I have a bandsaw, Mr. Building there? No, I don't, but I do want to get one. That's one of my to-do purchases. But yeah, I like to get one. So if you're thinking about buying tool brands, which I want to know which tool brands you guys go with. What's the best, in your opinion, the best tool brand and why? Let us know that. The WEN 9-inch bandsaw is on Amazon. Is one of them I have looked at. That's one of them I'm really looking at because I want to save some money, and they make good stuff. I like WEN stuff. Which router do I recommend? Bosch. If you're gonna buy, Bosch makes it like a plunge router with a fixed base, and that's the one I've got in my cart. It's like $279, I think, is the price. It's in my little Amazon cart, and they make one with the little wood handles. But there's another one that has like the trigger up there that you pull, and then Dewalt has one that's got 3 bases that come with it. It's a plunge base, a fixed base, and something else. I forget now. But I have not, EDJ, ever used a Grizzly. Before I bought my Delta, Grizzly was like right there at the top. I was going to either get a Grizzly or the Delta, and I went with Delta because I could put hands on it at the store. Plunge router versus fixed base. It's just going to depend on your needs. I mean, do you need one that plunges? I mean, or do you need one that's just fixed? I mean, you got to figure out what you're going to be using it for. I would, if you look at the Bosch or even the Dewalt's a little less expensive. You can get a router with both bases. It makes it really versatile. Drums. What's the difference between a drum sander and a thicknesser? I think you're talking about a planer. So that's just going to be reducing the size or the thickness of your boards, whereas a drum sander is actually sanding your boards for you, so you don't have to do all that sanding yourself. Carlos Cotto, man, thank you for the super chat. Table saw blade teeth count. Is it better for higher teeth blade for ripping? No. The lower the tooth, the more ripping it can do, and it just depends on what you're cutting too. If you're cutting 2x4s, then a low tooth, 40, 30, 40, 50 tooth at the most. And then once you get into your plywoods and sheet goods, you get a more finer tooth blade that'll make a nice smooth cut. Smooth. Hobby Woodworker says plunge bases can be hit and miss on design, annoying if they stick on you in the middle of a job. That is absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Different blades you can use on the table saw. We can talk about that if you want to, Mr. Matthew Roberts. What I would recommend is, what are you cutting with it? If you need dados, get you a table saw that can use dados or a dado stack so that you can cut those dados. I prefer on my table saw, my general use table saw blade is a Diablo 50 tooth. It's just a good all around combination blade. I had an anonymous donor send me a Forest blade 40 tooth. That blade's like $150. And as soon as I get some time, I'm going to compare a Diablo to that $150 blade and see if that extra cost actually is worth the price. And that's why he sent it to me. He wanted me to do a review so everybody else could see and know if if it does work. Mr. Dan Hurst, thank you. We'd love to meet y'all. We'll do a meetup somewhere. All right, so it's 7:31. You know what that means? You know what time it is. It's power tip time. So our power tip, get my notes. When you're starting out, you beg, you borrow, or you buy cheap tools to get you started if you don't have the budget for other tools. Because the most important thing is for you to start building projects. If you wait and try to save up, if you don't have a lot of extra income coming in and you're kind of strapped and you need that extra money for real life, try to go cheap. Try to borrow whatever you need to do. Get you some tools to get started. Once you get started and you can start making woodworking projects, you'll see that you're going to start making some sales. Friends, family, neighbors, people on the internet is going to see your stuff and they're going to want to start buying it. Once you start making those sales, then you can upgrade your tools if necessary. So that's my power tip for you. Don't think that you have to have Dewalt or Milwaukee or whatever name brand's in your mind that's the best of the best. You don't have to have that stuff to start. You can start with the bare basics. Doesn't matter if it's Hart from Walmart, Ryobi, whatever you think's the budget option, or you can borrow from family, friends, neighbors. I borrowed 2 drills from my father-in-law and a circular saw from my dad to get started, and it changed my life. I can't express to you how much those tools. I have a video. I've already made the video. I just haven't edited it yet. 5 tools changed my life, and they really did. It's crazy how you can take borrowed tools and totally change your life into something like this. I mean, it's amazing to be able to interact with you guys, and I love it.
Sorry.
Welcome back.
Bumping the desk.
You missed the power tip.
I missed the power tip.
You missed it.
Oh. Did you do it justice?
Yeah, I said power tip time.
My boss called me, and when your boss calls, you answer. I have
That's
right. I have a good boss. I have really good bosses. So I am way behind. So what I missed?
You scroll to the bottom and start.
Just scroll to the bottom.
Mr. Blessed Husband. That is awesome. I like that name. He just bought a 10-inch bandsaw model 18195, and the bearing that's behind the blade is trash. Youch. Have you contacted? What I would recommend you do is to go to Instagram and contact Delta directly. Just look Delta Machinery, send them a private message, tell them what issue you have. If it's a brand new one, and he'll direct you where you need to go. It's Jesse from Delta Woodworking or Delta Machinery. He is an awesome dude. He'll hook you up.
Have you answered Chris Henderson's?
I have not.
Okay. He says check Craigslist pawn shops for tools. Their county runs all pawn serials through police database
That's
before
awesome.
selling,
That's
so
really
no
awesome.
danger of getting in trouble.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't want to get no small stolen tools.
Another good way, I don't know if anybody's talked about it, we have estate auctions around here a lot. And I see them post it. You can get on Facebook groups, and they do a lot of these estate auctions on Facebook now. So you don't actually have to go to the place. A lot of them offer shipping. So that
You
might
can do
be
it
a
online. You can bid online.
yeah. With all this pandemic stuff, they've got all this contactless stuff going on. So
Mark Sashera. I'm not good with names, man. I'm sorry. Start with corded tools. You're right, man. You can save a lot of money buying corded tools. A circular saw. You can get a skilled circular saw for like $30 on Amazon.
Is
$35.
Sasahara?
Blish.
I should have taken the. Did you miss me?
I did. Y'all saw I was freaking out when she left. I was like, "What'd I do? What'd I say?"
Did you really?
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, I'm alone." I didn't know what to do. There were some pauses in there. I was reading. I was like, "Oh man, what am I doing?"
Oh Lord.
This is a 2-person show.
I hope y'all took care
Thank
of
you,
them
Woodcraft.
in my absence there.
Brother, thank you. Man. Thank you, Woodcraft, man. You're awesome. Y'all go check out Woodcraft 716
thank you so much.
Right here on YouTube. He's doing some good work.
Okay, so we've got over 300 people in there.
Hey, that's awesome.
191 thumbs up. So let me see another. If y'all give me another thumbs up, I'll give you a thumbs up with my repaired hand.
Yeah.
Do that for me. Let's see if we can get that number up.
Yeah, if you're new in here, if you're just coming on the chat, tell us where you're from. We like
happy birthday to Paul's Resale's wife. Today's her birthday.
That's awesome.
Says that he's truly blessed. She stands behind him and supports him 100%.
There's nothing better, brother.
Oh, look at the. Okay. It may shake, but we're gonna do this, okay? Look, y'all. Look.
Yeah.
I got a thumbs up, and it's not even shaking that back.
Hey, I don't know what kind of accomplishment that is. Her hand has had some major trauma in there.
Oh man,
arm, everything.
We were talking about that earlier today because it's been so frustrating at times.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think people have understood the amount of damage that was in there, and now I have scar tissue that has started building up on top of that brand new ligament.
That ain't good.
So physical therapy's been really fun. So yeah, it's a work in progress, but we're not going to let it get us down. We're just going to keep moving forward. Washington, D.C., Southwest Michigan, Oregon, Albuquerque, New Mexico. How do you say it?
New Mexico.
Yeah, yeah.
Bill McNair, man. He's on a job on an ambulance. Thank you. Thank you for your service.
Yes, absolutely. Tampico, Mexico, South Carolina, Chicago. Jesse says just bought a Bora NGX track and saw faceplate. Works great for breaking down full sheets.
That's awesome. I'd love to get a track saw. And I've heard Bora is coming on. Have y'all seen some of their stuff? They got some excellent clamps. They've got, I follow them on LinkedIn. They've got like really nice work table, expandable work tables. They're really coming on here lately. I think they're going to be a force to be reckoned with very soon because they're bringing on some heat.
Tyler Wise says that he had a Bosch circular saw that was very nice when owned it since he was 17. He's 26 now. So does that mean that he's been woodworking since 17?
Probably. I've been getting messages from 13 and 14-year-olds starting woodworking.
That is pretty cool. I love that. I had one of my students actually.
That scares me a little bit.
Come over with his dad. We sold something.
Some of my oak planks I had.
Well, we had sold a deep freezer or something.
Yeah, that's right.
And
they bought
the
the
dad
deep
did,
freeze and I gave them the wood planks.
When they showed up, it was one of my previous students from several years ago, and he started looking at all your woodworking, and he was saying that he had picked it up in school. They was starting to work on it.
Porch,
yeah,
I remember.
And so he gave them, some of those wood planks to. So that was, that to me is just a cool story.
Thank you, Miss Mayberry, for that birthday fist bump.
Farmer, these.
Should took your glasses off.
Says he's one of those 13-year-olds. That's so cool. That's awesome.
Just be really safe.
Yes.
I know at that age, when I was that age, I had no clue that stuff would hurt me because I'd done some really dumb stuff.
That's the age of my students. I have 12, 13, and 14.
I had no fear of most anything. And so, talking about like jumping on the back of a bull. I grew up on a farm. So you jump, you get him in the pen, and you jump on his back and see what happens. Yeah. Just be careful.
Yeah. I was, I grew up, my grandpa had chicken houses, and then our other neighbor had chicken houses. So we had chicken houses on both sides of us. It stunk no matter which way the wind blew. And so, he did all kinds of dumb stuff, but that's awesome. Laura Tatum says the hubby and I are new to your channel and they love it.
Welcome.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank y'all.
That's awesome.
Mr. Michael Nunez I wonder if they still have a wood shop in high school. Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I had one of their students from Chicago area message me saying that they were watching my videos and using those to guide them on building furniture in their shop class.
What was cool about that is that
awesome.
the student reached out to you, not
and
the teacher.
I told him to have that teacher.
Yeah.
I would love to zoom in there and just chat with them one day.
So I teach 8th grade career development. And we talk about how to get into certain jobs, all of the different career clusters and all this different stuff. And so I've actually asked him to do a virtual, some type of something, not really a presentation, more of a Q&A with my 8th graders because so many young people are already thinking about that. I didn't think about that at that age. I knew I wanted to be a school teacher when I was little.
I was just worried about getting on.
My imaginary friend was a teacher.
Mine was Snoopy.
I always wanted to be a teacher. Yeah, he had Snoopy. But mine was a school teacher, and I was convinced that I knew where she lived. And my daddy put me in his pickup one day, and he drove me all over Greenville, Mississippi, looking for her house. He was so dedicated to finding it, which is really awesome. So you guys out there, support your little ones. I still remember that.
Yep. Anonymous Woodworker wants to know, how does the Ridgid impact driver stack up against the Dewalt? They're very similar. Very similar. And I got a bunch of messages from people saying if I put a bigger amp hour battery, like a 4 or a 8 or 9, whatever Dewalt has, on those tools, on those tools, either the saw or the impact, that the power increases a lot. So I didn't really think about that. I should have, but I didn't think about that. So if you get bigger batteries, you get more power out of it.
Walt Gangwer says middle school students are amazing creatures.
They're creatures, all right.
I absolutely love the grades I teach. I always tell my 7th graders, because I have all the 7th graders and then I have all the 8th graders. So I have them all for a year and a half. I have my 8th graders for a semester. And I tell my 7th graders every year, I say, you're going to turn into a different creature when you make it into 8th grade. Because for some reason they do. There's such a difference there, but they're fun. And my first period class this year is 25 boys. 25 boys.
Yikes.
Yes.
Yikes.
So it's a lot of fun.
Mr. Chris Henderson wants to know, has anyone had experience from battery powered stuff from Walmart? So that's that Hart brand tools. I haven't had any experience with that. So if anybody has, y'all can help him out.
Justin is just starting a woodworking business. Thanks for the inspiration. Love the channel. Thank you, Justin. Krista is telling Graf that he used the dust stopper.
The dust deputy or dust stopper?
It says dust stopper from HD.
Home Depot.
Oh, big box store. I don't know some of this lingo. I'm learning.
Yeah, I've actually looked at the Harts there. I haven't actually used them, but I have looked at the Harts at Walmart, and they do look nice. They seem nice. Maybe, I think with the way this channel is focused on beginners, maybe the next round of donation that I get for the tools, that I will go and maybe buy
something for somebody that's got the beginners.
Yeah, maybe like Hart or Porter Cable. I don't know. Porter Cable is not really budget like Hart is, but Hart, Hercules, stuff like that. Maybe do something like
that. Craft says Hart is also made by, who is that? TTI, same as many others.
TTI makes Milwaukee, Hart, Ryobi, Empire. If you've seen Empire levels or Empire squares.
Oh, Dust Topper.
Dust Topper.
Paul says that Dust Topper is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Peyton said he loves his Hart Dremel and drill battery is okay. Ryobi one lasts longer, but meh.
I've heard a lot of people, and a lot of people,
like
a lot of people give grief to Ryobi, but I've very few people that actually have them and own them and use them all the time have a whole lot of complaint about them. I mean, it's a budget option, and you're getting a budget tool, but a lot of people like them, especially if you're just kind of a DIY weekend warrior woodworker. If you're just doing it one weekend a month, couple weekends a month, or whatever.
Or whenever you can get somebody to keep your kids.
Yeah, I mean, those tools will last a long, long time.
Brett Lemke says back in the day he built his recurve boat in wood class. He's 56 and still has it.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. I weld it.
Yeah, we had
when
a
I was
welding
in
class,
school.
woodworking class. We had all
I
kinds of
could
stuff.
get a really good bead
I
going.
couldn't drive a nail in a board when I was at age.
I was really good at doing the weld, but my daddy let me practice at home all the time because he had a welding machine.
Evan Quay, do I recommend my Dewalt dust extractor? It's the DV0110. So I don't remember the number.
Good evening, James Massey.
Yes, it is excellent. And I use it only on that sander. And we actually, when we refinished our cabinets, brought it inside to help curtail some of that dust. It works pretty well. I mean, I'm sure it's not like a Festool one, but it works pretty well.
Which one did you say? I did not listen to you.
Huh, I got you. I got you, boo.
Oh my goodness, we
Hard
have too
and
much
Kobalt,
fun
same
together
by the
sometimes.
made by the same company. I didn't know that.
What is your opinion on homemade dust filtration made from a box fan and a furnace filter?
Hey, go watch. Is it Easy Swan? He done a review on that. I talked about
Yeah.
it last week. He done a review on that dust extractor or the dust collection or filtration system from WEN versus a box fan, and the box fan won every time.
Oh,
Do I recommend the Craftsman drill and driver set? Yeah, if you're starting out and you're on a budget and you need just to get started, yes. Like the Power Tip said, if it gets you started, get it.
so I'm not. I don't want to say the name.
Salinas?
No.
Oh,
Says he's a huge fan and has inspired him to start selling rustic bars. Thanks for the content.
thank you.
Thank you, Kendall Haddon.
Yes, thank you very much. Send you some love and
yep.
support. Can't thank you enough for what you have done. I'm a high school engineer teacher as well.
Oh, yay.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Hey, if any of you
That's
guys are
awesome.
high school teachers and I can help you in any way, give me a shout on Instagram
Yeah, do it.
or Facebook. Let's see, Instagram.
Kids respond well to him. I've had him
Facebook.
speak to my 8th graders in years past, and they always respond really well to him. He gets nervous in the beginning, but, you know, it goes away.
On camera, it's different. If I'm in front of a crowd, I can't talk good.
I had him come and talk in front of
like 500 kids. It was at least
a lot
five,
in our
550.
auditorium.
How many kids was it? Like 500?
No, it
Maybe
was
6?
300 and something. Yeah.
Felt like 1,000.
Yeah, it's.
But you know, it's a whole lot different when you're standing in front of a whole bunch of eyeballs looking at you. You know, it's just.
I've had to be on the auditorium stage before in front of 5th through 8th grade, plus all of admin, plus parents, plus all my fellow teachers. So yeah it can be nerve-wracking sometimes. Chris Henderson said, "Never used a driver, only ever had a drill. Do they make that much difference?"
Yeah, for driving screws, absolutely. The drill, and the thing is, like if you only have one, like when I had 2 drills, I didn't have to swap out stuff, and that's the main thing is speed. But like the drill, I drill my pocket holes with the drill, and then I'll drive with that impact driver. A lot of people don't like driving the impact driver, but mine has a 1, 2, and 3 setting. If you put it on 1, it's really slow.
What Kraft said, but you talk to 100,000 people every video.
Not quite 100 every video, but it's just different. It's just different.
Oh, thank you, James Massey. Oh,
thank you.
That name.
Add this to your spending on Valentine's Day. Thank you.
Well, see, I have something picked out online that I want. Oh, it's so pretty.
It is a pretty handbag.
It's a handbag. It's so pretty. Oh, and it's my favorite brand. So it's really
Cashla Fan
pretty.
1204. I've used your floating shelf to make one for our entertainment center with a shelf instead of having it enclosed. That's pretty cool.
Awesome.
I've seen those. Those look really nice when you do that for an entertainment center.
Oh, Steven says his 13-year-old son and him have been inspired by your videos and the prospect of him saving up for college by selling products he builds. That's awesome. I wonder if there's any type of scholarship that he could apply for. Google that. When our oldest son was getting ready to graduate, he got on the internet and just started Googling everything he could Google. He got an academic scholarship. We were blessed that all 3 of our kids got their colleges paid for. But Google that. There's different scholarships for kids who are willing to do their own business or to serve the community in some way. He could build something like he could use his skills to build a library box that you put in the middle of town. There's all kinds of programs for that, so that's cool.
Brandon Coe says that he has to agree that the Ryobi table saw is really bad. I have heard their cordless tools are good. That table saw is not so good. Save you money. That's what I've heard. I've read reviews on it. I've seen people comment about it. The fence is the main thing you're looking for on that table saw. If you can lock it down.
Thank you, Great Grandpa.
Thank you. Awesome. If you lock that fence down and it still wiggles, don't get that one. Get one that stays true. You got to be able to lock that thing down and reach up with your hand. And if it moves, it's
and I
no
thought
good.
he was nuts in the store doing that because I kept asking him. I was like, "Why are you messing with it so much?" Because he was doing that.
You gotta know, man. If it's not true,
yeah.
If it
Thank
doesn't
you, Paul's
remain
resale.
parallel
Oh,
to that
it's towards my handbag. Yeah.
There you go, Paul. Thank you, man.
That's awesome.
Oh man, that's awesome. Look at her doing a happy dance.
That's funny.
But yeah, it's everything. The fence is everything, and then the power comes second to me. And so that's why I went with that Delta. It's got fence locks down true every single time.
Oh, Chuck Hampton built and sold his first blanket ladder yesterday. Hope to finish a coffee table and end table this week. That's awesome.
That's awesome, Mr. Hampton. That is awesome.
You know,
congratulations.
And
that first sale is everything, man.
On those blanket ladders, you guys, if y'all are going to stage those, another good idea for that, and I don't know if we talked about it in the video, put those in a bathroom and hang towels on them.
Mm-hmm.
That's that makes a really good sale for people. Yep. And the only reason I bring that up is because our blanket ladder that we have here, I plan on moving it from, we call it our dog room. I plan on moving it out of the dog room and putting it in our bathroom and hanging towels across it. Yeah. So that would be a good way to do it.
Stephen Borcher says that the Dewalt job site saw is very good. Yes. Before I got the Delta, I had that Dewalt picked out because one of them had the rack and pinion. In other words, it has gears that the fence rides on. It can't get unsquare, not very easily. And so that's what I was going to do.
Toby Folt says they cut the end of his pinky using a Ryobi table saw.
Yikes,
safety is not that great on him.
Man, be careful.
Tools make me nervous.
Be careful. I get nervous every time I use the jointer or the table saw. Like really, really nervous. And it's just, I'm scared to death that I'm going to chop something off.
Thank you, Dwayne Day says, been woodworking about 2 years. Been watching your videos for the past year. Great content. Love watching them, and God bless. God bless you too.
Mr. Ruben Martinez.
Yeah, that's the one he says.
Yep. What do y'all think about first big purchase should be? I have all the Dewalt hand tools already in a K-jig. A Kreg jig needs some better looking wood projects.
I was looking for his question. Where'd you
miter
find
saw.
it?
I had to scroll up and get it.
Okay.
Tables, for me, my first biggest one was a miter saw because it was important that I could cut accurate angles every single time. And so I put priority on that, and then I was able to because the type of projects I was making didn't require a table saw. Of course, you can get a miter gauge for your table saw or make a sled and be able to make those mitered cuts on a table saw. But for me, it was the miter saw, and that's what I got first. If you go back and look at the projects on this channel, if you want to make something similar to that, those early projects, the first several were made with a circular saw and a drill. And then after that, you'll start seeing some bigger projects they were made with a miter saw.
Jason Priestler says, showed his girlfriend your channel. Now have to build everything we've built, and you have filled up his days off.
I appreciate that, I guess. I hope you like that.
I think he meant it in a good way. Troy, you got
Did I click it? Troy Brogan?
Yeah, that's the one.
Would I remove the blade guard? You do what you feel best.
Did we pick the same one at the same time?
Mm-hmm. We think alike. We finished each other's sandwiches a lot.
Mm-hmm. He's told you before we talk in movie quotes, and it's
Bet
a
y'all
daily
don't know where that's
thing.
from.
Oh my goodness. Ruben says thank you. He appreciates you and
You're welcome,
give
man.
you a thumbs up.
Thank you. Mr. Brett Lamke says he's a big supporter of the channel, man. I think he comments on all the videos. Mm-hmm. I agree. Miter saw first. You can't go wrong. I agree with that. That's what I went with, and it just makes, if you can replicate those angles, that makes a big difference. And of course, a table saw is a big deal, and so to me, it's worth waiting and saving for a decent table saw.
Scroll the wrong direction on yours. Okay, I'll just say Woodcraft 716 wants to know if your laptop is wood, and he loves it. Thank you, Malcolm Marshall. I have one now too, but I tried to make mine a little bit more feminine.
Thank you, man.
Mine's a little more feminine.
I don't want to pick mine up. I picked it up on last week's show, but I got a bunch of stuff plugged in the side.
Yeah,
of it.
He doesn't need to pick his up.
Y'all don't see us no more if it
But
unplugs.
fish skin
fish
with
skin,
a Y.
FISHSKYN is where we got them at. This one's wood
Thank
grain
you
on
so
top.
much,
And then
RH Harley guy. Thank you. Started with Ridgid, so stayed with Ridgid. drill to router and everything in between. How do you feel about their larger tools, like their thickness planer? You're a true inspiration.
Man, I appreciate
That's
that.
awesome. Thank you.
It's a nice looking motorcycle. I don't have a problem with them. I've heard that there's a lot of people that use those Ridgid planers and they really like them. When I was looking at planers, I was researching a bunch of them. I go obsessive about this stuff. When I start looking for a big tool, you can ask her. I'll be looking at that stuff for weeks, and I'll read every review, watch every single video I can. Like, I'm just constantly trying to figure out what's the best, because, man, this money's hard earned. Y'all know how it is. You gotta work for this money. It's hard.
Graf, I just sent that link in the chat. He wanted the link to that, the skin on yours.
Oh, this is a sweet skin. It is sweet.
And they're not expensive. You can order the top or the outside top, the outside bottom, and then also the part that goes over the keypad if you want.
Yeah. Which blade do I use on my Dewalt saw? I usually run if we're talking about my miter saw, went blank there. If you're talking about miter saw, I use Diablo blades on mine, 80-tooth Diablo. It's a good fine cut for this type of stuff we're looking or building.
Justin says that you've given them confidence to go forward and motivated to do woodworking.
That's awesome, man.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Y'all be sure to share your work with me. I love seeing that stuff on Instagram, Facebook. If you can tag me in your post or even send it a private message if you want to.
Michael wants to know, how about the Kreg AccuCut?
AccuCut? I've got the Kreg RipCut. And
I don't pronounce any of this tool stuff correct. I don't pronounce it correctly.
I got the Kreg RipCut. It is awesome. If you've seen the builds on this channel using plywood and stuff, I use it all the time. The AccuCut is just I think it's more like a track saw, if I'm not mistaken, where you can clamp it down and use it as an edge guide. I've got a Swanson straight edge that goes up a little over 8 foot that I use. But yeah, it's good stuff. It's only like $79 for that.
Ricochet 845, what's your opinion on Porter cable tools? Love his 20-volt cordless ones, but I'm thinking of switching to Dewalt or another company no one near me carries Porter cable.
That may be an issue for you if you can't. A lot of us like to go into the store and put their hands on the tools. And so if you're not able to do that and you can, and when you run into a bind, you're like, oh man, I need such and such for this job and I need it done today. So it is a big deal to be able to run out and grab that. So the Porter cable makes good stuff, I think.
Karen G says Kreg RipCut works great.
Awesome.
Carrie, not Karen. Carrie G. I'm telling you, I won't wear my contacts next week. That way I can.
Alan Gwynn says his Ridgid planer works awesome. So, or works really well.
PR Hernandez, what bandsaw brands are you looking at?
WEN, Delta. I hadn't really got into researching those yet because I'm not really serious about buying one yet. But yeah, I've looked at the Ridgid, the WEN. I mean, not the Ridgid. The WEN and the Delta is the ones I've actually looked at.
I don't know why it doesn't let some of y'all's comments automatically show up on there, but I added it. That's crazy. Battery or pneumatic brad nailer?
I like battery.
Evan wants to know.
I like my battery brad nailer because
I love that brad nailer. It's just so heavy.
It is a beast.
We
put in some shiplap on the ceiling in our dining room, and I thought my arm was going to fall off.
Yeah, he would fuss at me. He would say, "Are we ready for it? Are we ready? I can't hold this much longer." And I'm thinking, "Yes, you can. You're the strongest man I know. You can hold that."
But I like the cordless brad nailers. It's just so convenient. The cordless tools are just so convenient. That's why I like them so much.
Bending tips and ripping lips. I love that name. I can't even go on now. I have a RipCut. How do you keep it from deflecting at the end of your cuts?
Hold pressure, and I just hold that pressure on that handle and just ease on that end of that cut. If you got everything supported nicely, you shouldn't have any issues. But yeah, that is one lesson I learned the hard way. You got to keep that lateral pressure on that handle while you're going through, or not, it'll walk to the left on you every time.
Oh, Mr. Guy says thank you, and thank you for the motorcycle compliment. Hold great pride for a Harley. His dad had a Harley.
Yep.
And he showed up at our house one day. It was sort of one of those. Yeah, it was a trike.
Mm-hmm. He was sharp.
Maybe he's not listening. He had sort of a midlife crisis and got one. He went all in too. He got the Harley helmet and the Harley leather jacket and the vest and all this stuff, and it was so fun. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. Oh my goodness. Every time you get just a little bit of.
Yeah. Hater gonna hate.
Haters gonna hate. It's okay though. We don't mind.
Nah.
You're gonna have haters no matter what. I think the biggest thing that I can say for haters is that you kind of have to get ready for that. I heard somebody said something one time. The more successful you are, or the more people you start reaching, or the more you come out of your comfort zone and you start doing what you love, then the more people's going to push back at you on that.
Yeah, I mean,
so that's okay. So if it's not your thing, it's not your thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you don't want to watch, don't watch.
Yeah.
As I never understand why somebody comes onto a video and starts commenting about how much they hate you or whatever.
But you know what's funny about that? They gave us engagement.
Yeah. I just don't get it because I'm just not going to do that to somebody if I don't like their content or it doesn't strike me, in a way that I like it, then I just move on,
But it's okay because everybody thinks differently. We all do things in a different way. So, Dan Dixon said, "What is there to hate? Y'all are awesome." Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Mr. Dan. Appreciate that.
My students they're always saying that they want to get on here. And I'm like, no, don't get on there. We need the comments to come from the people who really have questions. So.
Somebody asked a while ago if it was worth sticking with WEN Tool brand, or here it is right here. Mr. Kirby Young's thinking of switching to Ryobi to switch to
Thank
one
you,
brand.
Mr. Lloyd Wagner.
Yep. If you having WEN Tool brand is okay. I'm not really tool loyal or brand loyal. So I've got Ridgid stuff. I've got Dewalt stuff. I got Delta stuff. So I'm not really brand loyal. As long as it works for my needs. Now, on battery platforms, I can see why you kind of get brand loyal because you've already bought into that battery platform and to get to another one. When you have to buy the battery with the tool, it just gets expensive. And so
someone else asked about doing a Facebook group. Somebody else asked about that earlier in the show.
That's something we'll look into.
Yeah, definitely. But it would not be for a price, not a paid subscription. It would just be a thing to anybody who wants to join could go on there,
it'd be
share what they know or share questions that they have. And just a support thing. So yeah, we'll definitely look into that. Yep. Hobby Woodworker says, hug a hater, drives them crazy.
A lot of times,
you gotta kill them with kindness.
A lot of times, what happens on the videos, I don't get a whole lot of it, but I'll do get some. And what I'll do is I'll usually just give them a Bible scripture or something to go.
Yeah,
read.
And they really hate that sometimes. But in the beginning, it was harder. And he would want to respond back, and I did a couple of times. I responded back because
some people are mean.
I can be sort of hot-headed at times when it comes to him, my family, because I'm very protective of them. But I had to start looking at it from a whole different way. And so hugging the hater is exactly what we started doing. That's the way you should do it, and it's less stress for us. So
Dan Z wants to know, do you have any tips for pocket holes before you can afford a jig? Look at the Kreg R3. That's what I started out with. It's like $30 on Amazon, and it worked for a bunch of projects for me. It takes a little more time to drill each hole because it's not as fast, but it works perfectly fine. And I used it on a bunch of stuff starting out. And that's how I got my start with pocket holes was the R3.
Lone Wolf Woodwork says, get a mama bear. That is exactly what I am. I'm a mama bear. And I'm a mama bear to my kids here, and I am a mama bear to my students. And I tell them that. I'm like, you ever need anything, I'm your mama bear. That's exactly what I am. Oh, my goodness.
All right, so I'm going to answer that question. I like that. Mr. Farmer Walk. How long did it take you guys to start your channel, and how did you start? Go watch my first videos. See, what happened was what I did when I went to the police academy was she was here by herself with three little babies.
Did you forget that third one?
So she had three little ones.
Sorry, Daniel. We love you.
She had three little ones, and I'm gone for a week at a time. I leave on Sunday, come back on Friday. No communication for the first several weeks at all. Couldn't communicate home. And so she's here by herself 21 weeks. And so what happened was before I went, I made videos every week. I started out going to make them every day, and then I realized that is a daunting task. 21 weeks times 5 days. That's a lot. So I wound up making...
Some weeks I had 2 videos. Some weeks
one or two videos per week. I made for her. I bought a camera, made a video, and she got to watch it on Wednesdays, I think it was. I told her she could watch it on Tuesday and Thursday or whatever the schedule was. Anyway, that's how I got started making videos for myself. And then that transitioned into, once I got out of that, I was into radio scanners, made a radio scanner channel, monitoring reviews, got like 4,000 subscribers on YouTube. And then when I started this channel, I posted one video, like the Hyper Tough sander versus the Dewalt. We watched it this
went
week.
back and watched it this week, yeah.
I'm not on camera. You just see me moving. I'm barely talking like this. I was so nervous, about making a video. And then it was like 3 months later before I made another one, and then a couple months later before I made another one. And so that's how we got started with the channel. And then I just kept posting consistently, as much as I could. And it just eventually it's like building a wall, one brick at a time, and that's how you got to do anything. It doesn't matter if you're building a business, building a channel.
And don't wait.
Yep. If you wait till you have a camera, or you wait till you have the microphone, or you wait till you have the lighting, you're never going to start. It's just like waiting to start woodworking when you have all the tools. Yeah. You're never going to start. You just got to go.
He asked me a few days ago, he said, why didn't I already know sooner to do this? That's what he said, because, he loves it. He loves it. It brings him so much joy. And it's because he gets messages like the one that you had started mentioning earlier, things like that. And so he asked me, he said, can you imagine all of the people that we would have reached if I had done this earlier? And the thing about that is I told him, I said, God had already planted this in you years ago, because before you left for the academy, you made me those videos. And those videos are fantastic. We're going to try to pull them off of an old computer and try to post them. He even does a dance.
Well, we can't post that because it'll be copyright.
That's right, the song, but you could post it without the music.
Well, that'd look weird.
But I told him, I said, God had already planted that in there. And so, that seed there. And he was just getting you on the path, because I think, I think you need it to take the path you took, because you reached other people through your other job as well.
What a lot of people don't understand is I'm a very introverted person.
Post them to TikTok for 4321 4321 Woodworking.
I'm a very introverted person. If 200 people are in a room,
he is.
I'm talking to her and nobody else.
He didn't talk to my parents for years.
I think, the police academy got into a bunch of that stuff because I was able to get out of a lot of it put me out of my comfort zone. And then just the work itself gets you out of that. But I'm not a very social type. I'm not just lighting up the room when I walk in, you know what I mean?
You always light up my rooms.
But so if you're starting a channel, I recommend everybody do it. If you're into that stuff, I like the editing. I like the everything about it. And so I like it. So I like to post content. And if you like that kind of stuff, just do it. It does. All of my first
do what brings you
20,
joy.
30 videos were with my phone. And then I got a little old cheap mic off of Amazon to help the audio. And then I just started learning. It's just a learning process.
One of my coworkers last week, because she's trying to get into a program. And so I was talking to her about it, and I told her, I said, I walked into a job that I absolutely hated for 14 years. I hated it every single day that I walked into it. And it wasn't that I couldn't do the job well. It wasn't that I didn't make good money, because I made more money doing that than I do teaching. But I was so unhappy, and all I ever wanted was to be a teacher. That's all I've ever wanted to do. And so that's when we talked, and we took a leap of faith, and things happened just the right way. And that's when I went back to college and finished. And so the time is now. Don't walk into a job you hate every day if this is something you want to do. Don't walk into your house and think about the projects you can make.
That's right.
So do them. Everybody's got to start somewhere. So.
All right. And one more announcement before we go. I'm going to be on a podcast coming up. I've agreed to go on a podcast called Mountain and Valley Podcast. It's a Christian-based podcast where you share your testimony. I'll be sharing my testimony on there. I don't know when that episode will come out. I'll be talking to them on Thursday, and then, of course, they do their production stuff and then put it out. But you can go ahead and go subscribe to them on all the major podcast networks, Mountain and Valley Podcast. It's the and symbol.
Really quick, and he asked me if I wanted to record it with him, and I said, this is your story.
It should be fun.
It's our story, but I have faith in you. Mr. Lloyd Wagoner wants to know, do you use a certain program for editing your videos?
I do. So I was up until 2 weeks ago. I was using DaVinci Resolve. It's free. There's a $300 version you can buy. It adds some 3D stuff, some audio stuff you don't need for YouTube. The free version is extremely powerful. It works on Mac or PC. I recommend that. I used it for a very long time. My Dell laptop couldn't keep up with the size files I was producing, and I'm just doing 1080p. I'm not even doing. I didn't even do the 4K stuff. So anyway, I just bought a MacBook Pro, and now I'm using Final Cut Pro, and I like it a lot.
Michael Hensley wants to know how to win the Dewalt tools. I don't know if you've gone over that yet.
Nope. You ready?
Yeah.
So Thursday, there's going to be a new video out, Lord willing, and I'm going to post that video. In that video is going to be details on how to enter the giveaway.
Yes.
And then next week's live show on the 9th, I'm going to say it again wrong again. The 9th.
I think it's
on the 9th, Tuesday the 9th.
Yes.
During the live show, we will draw live. You do not have to be present to win.
Right.
But
we're gonna do it here on the.
We'll do it at 7:31. I'll do about that.
7:31.
Should we, or should we do the power tip at 7:31 and do the drawing at?
I think we should do the drawing at 7:31.
Drawing at 7:31 next Tuesday.
If y'all have a different idea, you can drop a comment. Let us know. We got several of you saying that you need the tools, so that's awesome. Make sure that you watch those videos.
I wish I could give every single person that needs them. I wish I could. I really do.
He kept saying he would stop video and then he would tell me that he was like, "Man, there's so many. How do we pick somebody? There's so many people. I would have loved to have had this." And so.
But somebody, hopefully, Lord willing, what I really want is if you don't need it, don't enter, because we're going to have more stuff that you may need. If you do, by all means enter, and I hope you win.
Woodcraft 716 says 7:31. That would be good.
Yep. All right. So thank you guys for joining us for episode number 8.
Thank y'all so much.
We'll see you for episode number 9 next Tuesday, Lord willing.
Yeah. Thanks for lifting our spirits tonight. Y'all have a good one. Bye.
Bye.